Right. Looks like we're good here. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the last Engineering the Markets for 2022. My name is Jared, and it is December 29th, 2022. So, it's the last time we'll be looking at the markets this year. It's been a pretty energetic type of year for trading. I think there's been a lot of surprises, some lessons learned. Obviously, for those who have never experienced a market like this, there's been a lot of uh, reflection as to certain choices made throughout some of their investment and trading strategy. But all in all, I think this is a good market to learn, to sort of understand the drivers of how things move and why prices change. We've got a lot of technical lesson in our back pocket. We've got some quantitative study that we're going to start building on for next year. And all in all, we'll just kind of see how the year wraps up. For the most part, we are looking at a S&P that is down approximately, go ahead and do this, make it easy. Bring up our trading terminal. We'll talk through our year-to-date performance across all of our indices products. The S&P is still technically at this point in time down over 20%. I think we saw a little bit more downside yesterday with some of the types of stocks that were selling. And if you notice yesterday, there was more or less correlated selling, but a lot more focus on yesterday's downside inside of technology, which was down heavier than the S&P. Materials and real estate communication also taking a hit. And then energy, the weakest sector just yesterday, seeing some rejection of some of our supply zone from the chart. But all in all, the S&P is still down 20%. If we look to close anywhere at these levels, that should be true for the end of the year. The IWM down almost 25%. And this was one that had some quite interesting technical structure. The type of give back in the IWM has been significant. We did get back all of the pre-pandemic rally, and that was coming off of a major distribution high range. The NASDAQ down at this point in time 35%. And I think what's been notable past couple of weeks has been the NASDAQ leading to the downside. More tech weakness, a lot of untouched tickers starting to see new 52-week lows and sort of more weakness across the past couple of weeks. Even just looking at where we started, whenever we were looking at FOMC and CPI readings, the NASDAQ is down about 12% over the last couple of weeks. And, with that equivalency marking from year to date, brought it down an additional 7%, which brings it to about 35% year to date. So there's been some very clear indication as what the market is focused in on for next year. Obviously, some tax loss harvesting and some core representation of weakness this past couple of weeks, as tech has been a laggard most of the year, but more specifically, certain underlyings really driving the index itself. And then, of course, the Dow, which as of late had one of the best recoveries since October. We're maintaining most of that rally at this point in time. Year to date, only down about 10%. So a little bit of return to some value-related stocks. But also remember, the Dow is calculated through a stock price weighting. So certain representation in the Dow, like United Healthcare and stocks like Goldman Sachs, they do represent a larger impact, especially if they are volatile during that time. So year to date, interesting percentage performance. All in all, not the worst year outright, but I think tech, given its largest market cap performance throughout the SPY and the NASDAQ, has been in focus, and the types of stocks that are declining or seeing weakness into these last couple of weeks has added to that downside percentage. So we'll keep an eye on how we close, and obviously look for next year to reposition or just kind of reopen ourselves to new opportunity. But all in all, this is where we stand as of today. Also wanted to call out yesterday another clear rejection of Friday's close from the S&P. We're seeing a little bit more downside, and once again, just a reminder that the weekly expected move this week is about 70 points. So our downside target with this plus or minus 70 points would be about 37.74. This is where, you know, volatility is expected this week. So even with yesterday's selling, nothing really is out of line quite yet. No major breach or anything. I would also be noting how we responded last week to the expected move. This is that kind of uncharacteristic rally that we got right on the boundary of expected move. So I'd be on the lookout for that. But obviously, if we continue to sell, things can get a little bit more violent to the downside. And the types of stocks selling, I think, are going to be the ones to pay attention to. Obviously, some noteworthy events yesterday. Apple did make a new 52-week low on the session. We actually closed at a new 52-week low, which is, in my opinion, more important because we are showing conviction on this breakdown. And more specifically, some of the fear of how far can Apple go, I think is kind of derived based on some of the longer time frames. Remember, you know, I'm looking probably close to the 200 period on the weekly to be tested. And what that means is, depending on how long it takes to get there, this MA takes a while to catch up to price. But if price is heading towards it, it's about a 115 target for Apple, you know, assuming we sell off in the next couple of weeks. Additionally, what that means is Apple may no longer be a $2 trillion market cap company. Yesterday's close, or approximately where we're pricing Apple today, we're right on that boundary. So one thing you might see if we ever lose, let's say 125 on Apple, is a news cycle where the focus becomes Apple no longer a $2 trillion company. That, of course, sparks a little bit more fear. People start to wonder, is it losing its relevancy or its leadership? A little bit of a news-driven energy to kind of provide some more sell pressure. And obviously, that's not a massive technical or trigger for any sort of trade. I think the technicals are clear at this point. Apple is breaking down. So let's see. Currently reading how to day trade for a living. Watching the same thing. Nice. Another stock to watch. I think it's obviously been in focus all week. I'd keep an eye on Tesla. Yesterday wasn't necessarily the best day performance-wise, but if you're looking at a heat map, there's only a couple stocks that were up on the session, and one of them happened to be Tesla. I would argue that outside of a couple of very small performances from the banks, Tesla really was the strongest stock yesterday, which might seem a little ironic, but it's the idea that they've already sold Tesla. Tesla has been obviously lagging the indices and providing a lot of sell pressure. It's starting to bounce, and we don't really know how long this bounce is going to last. We certainly have the volume to support some sort of capitulation style event. And those bounces can often be a bit parabolic in their recovery. But all in all, what you're noticing is more or less inverse correlation to short-term index performance. And I find that often to be advantageous if there is a ticker that's standing out through relative weakness or relative strength. Sometimes you can start to trust certain swings in price and try your best to kind of like buy into something like an hourly higher low, or just sort of trust a sell swing that it's going to recover in the future. Not always, of course, you have to manage that risk accordingly, but it's rare to see a stock in correlated events actually hold its inverse correlation. So anytime that happens, you do want to pay attention to it and maybe use that to your advantage, because oftentimes if the marketplace is selling, this particular name might sell less, especially if it's in a clear trend. And if the market is bouncing, sometimes it's allowed to outperform during that time, even though that kind of correlation is more on the intraday. So interesting name. And I also think that one of the objectives here is the bulls are trying to finish the sell swing, which essentially means that they want this gap to fill. They want this to turn into some sort of exhaustive style gap. Once again, they have the volume, but they haven't really finished the confirmed sort of turnaround play. So anytime that occurs, that often indicates some sort of important minor low in the market, and we just look towards that in the future as a reference point. It tends to be an event in time, but we're experiencing it now versus having to deal with it in the future. So I think for today, that's pretty much all I have on deck. It's our last session. It's Thursday, so I'll sort of field any questions as needed. We had one request for a ticker in the chat room. This is CCL. And then I'll look at YouTube as well. Okay, so CCL had earnings. It appears as if the earnings were reversed. So the performance on earnings was reversed. Let's look at the technicals here. So weekly bounce provided 100% retracement. They're fading it here. The weekly bulls are looking for a weekly higher low. One price level to monitor is the high of this candle, 743. I'll go ahead and make sure that that's marked appropriately. So we're holding 750 barely, and the weekly indicates that if there is a strong reversal, a lot of times the higher low will try and set up somewhere around here. The argument then becomes, what's next? I often look for these bigger buy and sell swings to kind of tighten up for a while, whether it be through compression, just kind of trading sideways or a little tighter, or if it is a stronger reaction, maybe they can push out a little bit stronger back to about 10. Intraday, I don't really trade stocks at this low of a price unless they're moving a little bit better. This kind of session would be more opportunistic, but last couple of days, it's traded pretty sideways with a bit of a falling wedge approach. So at some point, this could actually hit this low. And then from there, I'd be looking maybe for some reversal, more from the weekly perspective. So weekly support based solely on a bounce candle target. Intraday, pretty tight. I mean, it only moved 30 cents yesterday, so I don't typically trade that kind of junk. But if it ever can be volatile again and provide like a good risk to reward at this price, that could be an opportunity for a bigger move, even if it doesn't show on the intraday yet. I'm not super bearish on this yet because of how far it's fallen. I'm looking at this price. And you can kind of see why. There's a gap here. The weekly turnaround candle was here. So there's some interest at this price, and I'm just marking the weekly high of that candle. Which stocks are you eyeing to short today? I'm kind of looking at more tech weakness, but the only thing that's going to be counter that is what the bond market's doing. I honestly think TLT is about to bounce, and whether it happens today or not, it's probably like on its way to try and bounce. The 50 is not holding very well, so I'm cautious of that approach. But I think because rates are on the rise, tech is seeing more weakness. The Qs hit some important lows yesterday. This 260.1 was pretty important to me. It's the daily low before the trend change. This was an attempted, I wouldn't call it a test, but on a short term, this would be a test. They tried to go lower, they couldn't close it, and then the trend changed. So we hit that price. We even closed at that price. That's actually more important. The Qs closed at this 260.1. So something is very important about this price. The question is, do I want to short it here? Probably not. I think we've missed a lot of the sell, and tech can either trade sideways or just in a fashion that's not opportunistic. It's not really trend type. So the weakness was yesterday. That kind of finished this move. I'm a little cautious of this level. To me, that was the target for a lot of this stuff, like a range breakdown, wanted to get you down there. This size range, everything about this tells me that, a lot of targets have been met, but the question is it still going to be weak? I don't think it's ready to be weak. I think it's ready to trade sideways or up. And from there, I'm a little cautious of being short, just because it's not a good position to be short, even though it's weak recently. So, can you look at Boyle and XLE? Well, if you're looking at Boyle, you're looking at nat gas. So nat gas first, then Boyle. Nat gas is making new, 9, 10-month lows on the active contracts. Lots of volume kind of coming in. I don't know if we're in any sort of interesting structure on the futures. Let's do this. Okay. Yeah, so we have a normal curve out into January, and then we kind of fall off on demand here. So it's not really amazing for that. Let's do this. Let's go to Boyle and see what we got. Yeah. Weakness, but are you short down here? I don't think you should be. You gotta observe more. It depends on your time frame, but intraday, I can't really be short after a bounce candle at a low extension. So whether nat gas goes up or sideways, it's not a super great short right now. If nat gas keeps selling, then sure, but to me, you've missed a lot. So I can't be short, but it's not a great long yet. You know, longs don't really come off of these lows quickly. It's the market kind of saying that things are stabilizing or maybe hitting a floor. So, I mean, that gas all in all is weak though. I mean, nothing making new lows should be considered strong on the year. And I think nat gas is at like a 9-month low in price. So XLE, start on the weekly. There's a lot you can observe here. There's a relative high. We ran into it, lack of follow through. That tells me channel, big picture. So you can see the horizontal resistance, but if you're marking highs, there's probably like a channel in this region. And we sold from it. Like, don't forget that this happened. We back tested. To me, the back test level was here because this wasn't a breakdown yet on the weekly. Look how clear that back test is. So am I bullish? No. Am I bearish? Probably need to start considering it. And if you're risking somewhere in this region, you could even risk this high, or sorry, this low. This allows you to maybe participate in another sell swing in the future. But I can't be bullish up here because the chart doesn't look right. You can be bullish intraday and then bearish when the weekly starts to line up, or the daily. It's a pretty clear back test. They're usually not that clear. So if that keeps selling, or if it continues, rejection of 50, 20 is moving lower, price barely under it. I personally think short-term downtrend just to get us back to VPOC, 80, 76, anywhere in here would be good. It's short, but you need a risk level. And yet the day where it was indecisive, that was your risk level. Even Thor talked about that. He talked about how he was looking on the day when it was indecisive. That's the day it was setting up. And it was true on Oxy, setup candle into a sell swing. It was true on CVX, setup candle into a sell swing. Lots of channels here for the most part, but these are setups that are in formation, bigger picture setups. A rise in TLT corresponds to a rise in the value of bonds, correct? Yeah. Well, TLT tracks 20+ year bonds. So TLT up, something like ZB being up. So ZB is like your 30-year. TLT down, 30-year bonds for the most part down, but bonds down, rates up. Rates and bonds, bond price and rates are inverse. So TLT is a product that allows you to track 20+ treasury bonds a little easier because they're not in these weird antiquated tick pricings. But all in all, this is the bond market from a futures perspective, futures product. You can clearly see what's been happening. We hit a resistance low back in June. So this broke, turned into resistance. They started selling. I'm kind of looking maybe for it to end the sell anywhere in this region because it's once again that weekly higher low approach. We haven't really reversed the trend on the weekly yet. We just bounced really hard. So, you can see the symmetry here. There's a lot of very clear candle rejections, but because that's happening, I think higher rates, more tech weakness. There's been some yield curve kind of calming. I think Brian talked about that. I usually use this view to show it. No. So 2-year minus US 10-year. Flip them. Just save this. So you look like on a monthly time frame. You see how we're starting to bounce monthly? What this is showing you on a charting perspective is that recently there's been a massive yield curve inversion on the 2s and 10s. We're starting to bounce, which only means that the yield curve is lessening because we're still inverted. But the question then becomes, is the 10-year rate rising faster, or is the 2-year rate rising slower? I think I got those right. You know, which of the ratio is moving faster, or are they both converging into close to zero? You know, they're trying to get back to zero. As I mentioned, though, this is a really nasty yield curve inversion. So as far as this data goes. Okay, back to YouTube, mRNA. Let's take a look at that one. Okay, well, you can see kind of the level of interest. There's been some good range here. You see support, you see resistance, some failed breakouts before. This looks a little Wycovian to me, which is interesting. Like the fact that there's such a big range here, and this is the bounce touch, which often fails. This is more or less testing behavior, like secondary test kind of behavior. Attempts to break, often a closure, but then we come back inside and revert. And then we jump through one more time. Now we're starting to get outside. So the question is, are they going to hold? For the most part, this looks fairly good so long as we hold outside. This is even a little bit deceptive too, because it looked like it was pulling back in and then jumped out of the range. So there's some Wycovian stuff going on here that looks pretty solid. The question is, I would need to see another setup here, maybe like a weekly closure that holds. That way your risk is tight. Or you could risk this low for longs. I would be long biased though. But the trend tells me to start being more long biased. Let's see, we got a little bit of time left. Jobless claims should be coming, so volatility incoming for those about to be trading. XBI, stick with this. I mean, depends on your time frame, but I don't see much outside of this channel. If we are leaning down, your target is the low. If this channel breaks downside, your target is the low. Or you might be able to make it to like 72, but technically this isn't a really strong break yet. And most of the time you short the top of the channel to get to the bottom, but then you put a break even. That way, you know, if it makes another test, you're out of that with, you know, potential for risk. To me though, if a channel breaks, you target the lows. This type of channel, it's a bearish rising channel. So there's not much else I see on this chart except for the MAs are catching up. So it does look like it wants to break down. You still target here and then maybe this weekly demand down here. I don't think I have it marked perfectly, but you can kind of see where it starts. Okay, yeah, data should be out. So as always, thank you all so much. It's been a great year. More coming next year. Stay tuned for pre-market prep. Have a lovely rest of your 2022 trade. And yeah, we'll talk more next year. Bye for now.
All right. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the PreMarket Prep. I hope you're having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, brother. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing good, my friend. Doing good. All right. As Jared was just mentioning, we do have some numbers out. Let's take a look at that. Norm, do you have the numbers yet?
Yeah, we have jobless claims. Initial jobless claims came out just a few thousand higher than expected. Continuing claims came in a little hotter than expected, a little more than expected. So, bad news, good news. Market reacting positively a little bit for that. Um, Happy 2023, by the way. So, technically, trades placed today are trades in 2023. So, possible outcome of that, or uh, possible thing that might cause is some of the tax loss selling. If that's been part of what we've seen in the market the last couple of weeks, will be alleviated. So, I
Nice,
think that's
nice.
part of the reason we're up as we are this morning. We'll see if it holds. Who knows? Uh, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Let's see where it goes, guys. Our gappers list this morning, we got quite a bit in the green today, as you can see here. We got a few in the double digits. We'll see how that looks. Kala and a Nui, and then we have our usual suspect Tesla on lead the way, and some other ones on here that we're very familiar with. Oh, is it all EVs? I just noticed that all EVs: Tesla, Lee, XPEV, Vili, and Rivian.
well, Billy's
So,
not an EV,
oh yeah,
but other
Billy's
than
not
that,
EV. Yeah, Billy's Chinese, but not EV. Um, all right, we'll take a look at that. And then down we have two really, really, really bad tickers, guys. I mean, if you want to talk about bad, these two there are just hot garbage right there. TAL and EDU. We will still look at them, but just remind yourself, reminder that these are just pure garbage. Um, no, did you cover our market post already? Right? There was not
yeah,
much coming out before. Yeah.
not
Okay.
much.
Yeah. Quick look at the stuff we had yesterday, and again, Tesla leading the way. Yesterday, just very, very active in the pre-market. Not as clean as it has been the last probably 3, 4 days, trading days, right? You got a little bit of a bounce here, and that created a little bit of some choppiness, right? You didn't get that great continuation that we've been kind of seeing towards the downside, at least on Tesla. So getting a little bit of some support happening here. They are slightly up today again, 5.2, bouncing from the lows of the last couple of days. So this will be in play today. Again, yesterday, it still got some activity. Again, I say that compared to the previous days where it just ran in one direction, that being down endlessly. But here you got a little bit of action, above and below the VWAP, as you see there. We had Nvidia, some other ones that were very, very choppy. Again, Nvidia not giving you anything like the previous day. Yesterday was very, very choppy. LUV actually traded very nice. It took a while, but it trended down here. You didn't get a great sell off for the first half of the day, but if you had a great entry, and you were just waiting for this thing to lose the VWAP further down, lose the low of the day, if you're patient enough, which is difficult to do, to wait till 1 o'clock to finally get a very, very decent drop here, guys, all the way down to 32. So that was LUV yesterday. Throughout the entire day, they trade very well. Amazon had a rough start. Again, just really, really choppy. And once you have this kind of start here for the day, it's very difficult to trust with this candles here. Are you going to get a continuation, right? That's very difficult to kind of have that setup when you have not been doing that in the last couple of minutes, hours, or whatever there. So it does sell down very nicely here. It does hit the low of the day, and you were able to catch a good opportunity there on Amazon yesterday. Apple was much better. It did give you a bit of some choppiness, but it did trade much cleaner than Amazon. One of our usual suspects here, losing this 129 level, I believe was the low of the pre-market. And look how great this continuation was, guys, all the way down to 126.50ish or so. So we had some pretty good stuff yesterday. You had to just, again, and we've been talking about this, guys, here, being patient, right? Just waiting for the setup. Look at Apple, nothing happening the first, hour? Be patient, you're going to get a breakout. Same thing with Amazon here. The first hour, just brutal. Not much going on. LUV took a little bit longer to get the actual breakdown. But again, just being patient with the process is critical. Nvidia never gave you a chance. That would happen. And then Tesla actually did okay at the market open. Didn't give you any kind of continuation towards the end of the day. So that's what we had yesterday. Let's go over to our gap up list and start there and see what we got going on, guys. So we'll start with first Control A, Control X. We'll get rid of this. We are going to go ahead and add some rows here. And let's see what Kala is all about. So Kala, 1.2 million shares flow, up 45% this morning. Norm, any significant news on this?
Yeah, it's a very low float, 1.29 million share biotech that had some trial news, and then it's got a application cleared with the FDA. So we know how these trade. It was on fire yesterday as well. You got two 5-minute charts going there, buddy.
Oh, yeah, I'm getting ready for you.
There you go. It was on fire yesterday as well. Today's the second day. Who knows? Maybe it continues. If you choose to mess around with that, be careful.
Yeah, extremely careful, guys. And this day yesterday wasn't
F around and find out trade.
yes, I do. Absolutely. Here it is, guys. Yesterday although it popped up nicely here, it was all in like a couple of minutes, which is this right here, right? So you didn't get like a lot of play in here. A couple of halts looks like. Again, so just be very careful on there. Let me change this color. Now it's a little bit difficult to see on screen. This is much better. So again, be careful, guys. In play for sure because it's holding. Usually, when you have these lower flow stocks that don't sell off and come back to the grave here, you can have potential second day play here. So risky, guys. 2.1 million shares traded right now. Here's Nui. So Nui at the moment is also it's lower actually. 287,000 shares float. So much lower. Much less volume. I don't think you can actually say that much less volume, but less volume. Be careful, guys. It's in play here. It's moving very aggressively. Just went from 12.25 to $14, guys. I mean, that's aggressive. I mean, the candle looks small, right? You might think, oh, it's a small candle. That's an aggressive move once you start looking at the numbers that this thing is running through. So, very careful.
I was watching this for a minute earlier. There was some new news that just came out on it, but it had been popping up. So obviously somebody inside knew something was going on, and this thing had rallied a decent amount this morning. And then more news came out just a moment ago, which is what set this off in the last few minutes. Be really careful. I noticed that it's quite spready for something that price, and the interest I saw it just go away at one point, and it kind of collapsed a bit, and then it started taking off again. So who knows?
Yeah.
Be careful though.
Very careful, guys. I'm even concerned to put this on my risky pile, but it is in play. I think there'll be some opportunities for traders that do like to watch these type of stocks and that have a plan in place and have proven to be successful in them. So if that's not you, then this is not something you'll have on your list today. Tesla, guys, in play today for sure. We're getting some love here out of Tesla. I mean, can it go anywhere else by up now after the last couple of days? So green day yesterday finally, and today we're seeing a gap up of 5.3. Now, Norm, I see this a whole list of EVs vehicle here. Is there some kind of news, maybe out of China or something, factories, something to do with these?
I mean, there's news out of China every day. I don't know anything that's super specific on these this morning. Very well could be there. Somebody throw it out. I'm a little bit behind the news this morning. We'll see. Yeah. These have been hit quite a bit recently as well. So
yeah, maybe a sympathy play with Tesla. Who knows? But they're here, guys. They're moving very well. Let's go through them. Tesla, of course, on our list, has been trading very well. Yesterday was not the best trading day. Again, if you look at the candle here, it didn't move a whole lot. Did get volume, just kind of some sideways action there. But for the most part, we've been seeing some amazing continuation on all these down days here. So today looks good, guys. 5.7 million shares traded. So maybe we're going to continue to kind of run this rally here that we're getting. I mean, we're being beat up so much, as Norm said. You might see an update today. Here's LI. LI this morning, no volume. They're up 3.7, but this is not one that I would like to see. Also, they've been trading so horrible, guys. I mean, even on great days like this is not good. Look at these candles here. with low volume. It is just not great. Let's look at XBEF, which is another one too that we stopped looking at. At least I did, because when it is moving nicely, you have Neo and other ones that are moving much better. So I really stopped looking at this one for now. I don't see anything happening here. Very low volume compared to what we used to seeing. Rivian just also has been taking just a bloodbath here. No volume this morning. They're gapping up 2.6, but not really great. Let's take a look at Billy. Billy's just moving sideways, barely getting into our gap up scanners here. They're up 2.6, 109. But again, here's another one that I don't see anything worth watching right now. Right, that could change, but nothing great at the moment. Even Neo doesn't look great today. Again, all of these are here up between 3.7 and 2.1. All EV except for Billy. They don't really look great, guys. I think we need to give them a little more time. I don't see why they're on here. I mean, I know why they're on here, the number wise, but they're really not in play besides Tesla. It's just my take on it. All right, let's look at this hot garbage right now.
The volume flowing through most of these is pretty anemic right now, and
it
terrible.
It is, and even Neo with like 857,000 looks horrible. Doesn't look great at all, So yeah, I agree. This is not good, and everything else
Neo sucks, man.
Yeah,
I hate to break it to you. Everybody clinging on to that from a year and a half ago, but
yeah, it's I don't know, man.
It's been at this point, unless it starts coming up in price,
this doesn't look good now, but it's been so good to me the last 2 months. But we'll see. But yeah, they're not in play, man. They're not in play today. 1 second, guys. I am missing a critical part of this operation. And that is our YouTube chat. So give me 1 second. Let me bring this up. I looked over to say hello, and I don't see no one there. Got concerned. So let's bring you guys in. We'll get our YouTube chat going there. But yeah, and then the other two guys in the gap down scanners, TAL and EDU, both educational companies, Chinese educational companies. Again, they trade pretty crappy, so be careful. All right, cool. So that's what we have, guys. Not much on the list today. Just Tesla and a couple of really risky stocks at the bottom here, Kala and Nui, which you got to be very careful with. Norman, your end, is there anything you like this morning? I lose Norm?
No, you didn't lose me.
That is exactly your answer. So yeah, guys. So Norm doesn't like much. Oh, sorry, made this too big. There we go. Norm doesn't like anything this morning. Let's take it to the chat. Let's see what you guys have as we start today.
Yeah, you got people pointing out Nvidia.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The semis are in play. The semi ETFs you can trade as well.
Yeah. Let's take a look. I saw Nvidia here. Again, not a great day yesterday. Today, we'll see what happens, right? We got to give it a little more time. Not a whole lot going on pre-market, but again, they've been having some crazy moves here. So I like Nvidia. AMD, I don't know. AMD has not been all that great. Maybe today they'll do something. Maybe possible if the semis are going to be doing something.
About AMD, dude. Don't feel obligated. Peter's not here.
Yeah, Peter's not here. Let's lead off the list. So we'll see. It is up 1.2, and something seems to be happening now because they're both popping up. So yeah, see what's happening there, guys. Fabio is giving us Amazon, one of our usual suspects, which again, guys, traded very well yesterday. You just had to be patient. Not giving you a whole lot right now. It's going to be the same thing probably with Apple and all these other typical suspects, usual suspects that we have on our list. Apple looks actually pretty good though. Apple 997, up 1.5, probably doing whatever the market is doing, which let's take a quick look. What's going on here? So numbers came out. This thing is up slightly below 1% at the moment. All right, cool. Let's see what kind of day we're going to have. Apple with volume. Yeah, Tunde, I agree. Apple looks good with volume. Very nice there. Jeff says Tesla. Yeah, that's all you. The last couple of days, I agree. That's all you needed. If you were not trying to trade this long, right? Tesla short here has been just incredible. It'll be in play today. Already looking really nice, guys. Looks like it's going to have a nice green day if it can continue to hold on to this. up 6.2 at the moment. Maybe Elon is buying all his shares back now that it's the beginning
Had a
of the
huge discount.
2023 at a big discount. I mean, do you know how much this guy saved? I mean, it's a good move. Oh man. Thomas, you're giving us APPH. APPH. Let's take a look. What is this? Oh man. No. No. This is a penny stock. Did you mean Apple? Is your H on your keyboard next to L? Did you mean Apple? Because this is quite not something we will look at. I think you might have meant Apple. All right, let's see here. You've been killing it with SQQQ. Nice, Matthew. Yeah, the volatility has been amazing. RFG agrees. Yeah, right. I think you're agreeing with the Elon comment.
What's
Be
that?
smart.
Garbage?
No, with the Elon buying back. All right, guys. Man, we don't have a whole lot today. This is it right here. And our gap up list is going to grow a little bit more as we see the SPY kind of push up higher here. So we're going to have more things appear on this list. But so far, we got NVIDIA coming up on deck too. NVIDIA is moving very well at the moment. So 4 tickers so far, guys: Tesla, NVIDIA, Amazon, and Apple. As the market continues to do its thing here, we will have some other ones that will pop out on this list. But if you see something great on your side, throw it back out to me. We'll definitely take a look at it. The Qs, what are the Qs doing? Are they moving up as well? They have not been having fun lately. Yeah, Qs everything's going up at the moment now, so looking pretty good. Tesla breakout. Yeah, Tesla's looking very strong at the moment. All right, excellent, guys. Let's get to our market community community events and see what's going on there for the coming week as we ramp things up for 2023. So let's get into that and go over those.
All right. Every Monday night, not including next Monday. So every Monday when it's not a holiday Monday. Onboarding technology with Carlos. We're going to be doing that on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern instead next week. So be sure to check that out. Then Eamon will be next Tuesday at 5 o'clock about how to read price action. That's success webinar, strategy webinar. Following week will be Andrew talking about the 920 trade strategy. 8 p.m. Eastern, the regular time. Psychology next Wednesday, Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about thinking in bets and using probabilities to your advantage in trading. The following week, 5 p.m. Eastern, Creta talking about finding your mental edge. All right. Mentorship with John at 11. I think he's doing that today. I believe he is. I don't know about Thor this evening. Thor's around here possibly, so he can answer if he'll be doing it tonight. We run a light webinar schedule on this holiday week. So tradingterminal.com, where we are building out tools for active traders, all kinds of stuff from earnings calendar, heat map. You've got opinion pieces. And some of the biggest things, scanners and the replay simulator. So be sure to check those out. Boot camp, we are signing up for the first boot camp of 2023. We are going to be focused on live trading via Zoom meetings where people will be able to give their input and actually talk with the mentor through it. A lot of we had meetings over the last few days with PCT Group that conducts that about how personalized and help, very small group, personalized help, one-on-one time in there and such. So be sure to check that out. There will be at least 2 live trading sessions per week, as I mentioned, in a Zoom meeting type of format where you guys can talk, even potentially share your trade or your screen if you'd like to. No obligation to do so. Tell you from doing this for a few years, it can be nerve-wracking at first. So anyway, then the Live Trading Summit, San Diego, March 2nd and 3rd. Be sure to get your tickets as soon as you can. We are going to have a full 2-day schedule in San Diego. We've got a number of strategy and psychology discussions we'll be having, a panel discussion with all the moderators that are there. live trading. We will have dinner, a nice dinner where you can bring your family. If you'd like to bring your spouse and they're not interested in trading, they can go do whatever San Diego has to offer for the day, and then you can bring them to dinner that night. So be sure to check it out. That's at bearabletraders.com/workshop, or you can click to it from the home screen. If you're watching on YouTube, do you like to give the chat room a try? Use the promo code PreMarket24 when you use that intro membership. It is a one-time payment. It does not recur. It does not turn into a different kind of membership or anything like that. It just cancels after 7 calendar days. And then also Elite annual membership. This is the last chance, last few days to get the discount on at $9.99. Prices will be increasing at the beginning of next week. So you can lock that in if you'd like to renew now. It'll just add it on to the end of your current annual membership.
All right, Norm, thank you very much for that. Okay, guys, let's get to it here. Again, we don't have a whole lot to go through this morning, but I think things will get nicely here as the market continues to rally, the Qs and the SPY and everything else we have on deck. So looking forward to see how this is going to look in a couple of minutes. So right now we have Tesla, which is again in play, guys, up 6.1 after a nice bloodbath here. So we saw a green day yesterday, and today we might get some continuation out of that, and the SPY might actually help this, right? Actually help this push higher. Look at Nvidia, man. Nvidia is on fire, my friends. This thing is up 3% now, but it's moving rapidly in the last 15 minutes here. So we're getting a nice move here. AMD not so hot right now, but Nvidia definitely loving this pop that the market and they are getting at the moment. So that is good. And we have Amazon, which again can traded very well yesterday and today already. It's got decent volume at 654. So I like that there as well. And then we have Apple here doing whatever the overall market is doing. So today's setting up to be somewhat of a positive pre-market so far. Can't say about the open how that's going to end up, but right now we're seeing some pretty good pops in the pre-market action. Here, guys, over at what's this on our gap up list, we have another low flow at 1.2 that's starting to make some heavy noise here. So we're up 44% right now. 500, almost 500,000 shares traded. Had an okay day yesterday, so maybe somebody knew something about today. Any news on this one, guys? Any reason why this thing is making this insane move? Half Therapeutics. We'll add it here. Today's a low float type day. We haven't had really good low floats in this whole year. I feel like the low floats were much better a couple of years back, but today they're definitely trying to make a play here. And also what it seems like that we have so much to play with the mid to large float stocks that the activity we're getting there, like on Tesla, who needs low floats? I mean, you have Tesla, moving the way it does. I mean, you don't need this stuff, right? So there's Kala. We have Nui, which Nui is it's up 36%, but it is an ugly pre-market. It's an ugly 36%. Not too happy with that. This looks much better at 38%, and it just started to get going here. Let's see if that is going to stick. But out of all of these, Kala is the one that's interesting because this one had a good day yesterday. It held here. It's up again today. So this can be one that can possibly give you some opportunities. As Norm mentioned earlier, look out for the spread. The spread at times gets a little bit nasty here. So be mindful when you're entering this trade if you're going to be trading this type of stock. Nothing wrong with low flow stocks. Again, we just warn you often because if you're not experienced, you can definitely get kicked in the face by this one. So very, very careful. All right, Tesla is good. Nvidia is on deck as well. We have both for those. Anything else, guys? I see Thor has his watch list. Jared has his watch list. Pretty much some of the stuff that we have on here as well. Let's get to levels. I know it's early, but we can get to levels, and then we can get into some questions you guys might have and throw out some tickers. As I'm doing levels, I'll take a look at them. Let's look at Tesla. Let's do levels here, my friends. Towards the bottom, we're pretty much set. You have your highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. I'm going to add just the low of the pre-market. So we have that all set. that is going to be 114.53. So we'll slam something right there at 114.53. It's good. And let's head over to the top here. We do have a high of the pre-market right now sitting at 120 29. But you know what, I'm not going to mark that yet. We are pretty much in the backyard of the highs from 2 trading days ago right here, right, where we're pretty much in their backyard at the moment. So let's see if this is going to rally higher above was 120.34, which is the high of the pre-market, and then we'll mark that. But right now we're just right here in this area. So nothing to see there at the moment. Now above that, right above that, we got a couple of things. We got this level here, 128. Got a couple of things besides the bloodbath, all red candles, 128.37, 135.63. And here, I mean, they're not really touching, right? They're not at the same level. But I think around here, 122, this is an area, not a strong support like you see here at 135 but maybe a minor area support and resistance there at 122. Let's see how that's going to play out. And you're pretty much set on Tesla, guys. Great volume, already 7.8 million shares traded. It's going to have one of those record pre-market numbers. Looks like the way it's moving right now. Let's take a look at Bashoto from in YouTube is giving us Disney. Let's take a look at Disney. I'll go through some of these as I'm doing this, so I don't miss them. Since we do have enough time, and you guys can throw any questions you have there, and you can also hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it very, very much. We're sitting at 80 likes. Not bad for I was gonna say Friday, but it's not Friday, right? It's Thursday. Okay, that's really bad, guys. We got to get better. It's not Friday yet. We got to wake up and hit that like button. Friday we can have an easy day, but not today. Let's put those fingers to work. All right, so Disney, guys, right here, it's pretty quiet right now. Just moving with the overall market, so I don't think you're getting a whole lot out of this right now. I don't see this in play. Now, I see, I agree with your comment. It has been active. Yes, it has been active. Like you see here, some of these days have been pretty nice, actually. More towards the downside. Towards the upside, you're not getting a whole lot of continuation, but towards the downside, especially with, the market having getting pulled there quite a bit, you're seeing a lot of stuff happening there. So yeah, this is been active, but not seeing anything right now. Maybe you might need to wait until the market open to see how that is going to play out. All right, we were looking at Nvidia, and Nvidia again, the last couple of minutes doing some pretty good stuff. So that's been trading pretty well there, and yeah, I like Nvidia actually. Let's see where this goes. High of the pre-market 144.95. Let's slam a level right on there, and then towards the bottom we are set, guys. Highs and lows, we're surrounded by all this stuff here. Previous day close as well, so you're set there. Towards the top, you even have a level up here at 150, which is a great area. If you look at 150 right there, that's a great area. You got some touches there as well. So I like Nvidia. Let's see where this goes today. Just the last couple of minutes, the volume has increased pretty nicely here. Here is Amazon, one of our usual suspects. Again, normally we don't have it on the radar as one of the first usual suspects, but it traded very well yesterday, better than a lot of the other stuff that we look at. So high of the pre-market right now, 83.20. We'll slam a level there, and then towards the bottom, guys, we do have our highs and lows. This level here, by the way, this seems to be a very, very active level right on there. We're just kind of hanging around, flirting with that at the moment. So let's see where that goes. And then we have Apple, which volume is coming in really nice. Apple looks great, guys. Great pre-market activity at the moment. 1.1 million shares traded. So this looks very, very good. Yeah, this looks very, very nice. Let's put a level here. High of the pre-market 128.12. Towards the bottom, the low of the pre-market, we're looking at 126.52. And then you're set. Once you do that, you're pretty much set on Apple. Fazia, you're giving us SP, and I don't think we've ever seen this one. Let's look at this. SPDN. Let's take a look here. SPDN. Oh, no. What is this? Oh, this is a S&P. This is a ETF. Bears times 1. Yeah, I wouldn't trade this, because I mean, if I'm gonna trade something that's leveraged, I want to see some great volume, right? Like you usually do the TQQ, SQQ are very decent. You can trade this one. It's going to follow whatever the overall market is doing towards the downside, right? So the market goes up, this will go down. So just do the opposite. But again, I prefer, I look at a chart like that for day trading, right? And I prefer to just kind of trade the SPY if I'm going to do that. Now I know the price is a little bit different, but it is one to one, so you're not really getting a benefit there, besides the price being lower, right? That's the benefit you get. So, yeah, uh, I don't like it for day trading, but I see what you're looking at. There's nothing wrong with that, Fazio. You're just looking at the overall SPY. Whatever the overall SPY is doing, that is going to do there as well. As a long play, but if you go long, right? If you go long on the SPN, you're just basically, if you're going long there,
On the SPY.
you're a long SPY, right?
Oh no, that's short.
That's short.
SPN, I believe, is bear. So yeah, short SPY.
So you're shorting the SPY. So I don't look at the market as long and short play because it can do either one, right? I mean, it depends what the market does, right? So it's hard to set it up that way, right? All right, what else we have, guys? Roblox. Roblox looking interesting. Let's take a look here. No, I don't see volume on it. I see what you're looking at. The daily, it's been pushing higher here, but it hasn't done anything yet, though. Volume has been very, very light. So you need a whole lot to happen here for this thing to start looking exciting, to head towards 29, maybe start closing this gap down here. But yeah, it's showing good support here, just not enough volume at the moment, right? But I like Roblox, man. When Roblox is in play, it does trade very well, very, very well. Fazia, for buy and hold, I don't know if that's a good buy and hold. I think there's better things you want to buy and hold for the SPY. And I know Jared or you, Norm, spoke about this.
Buy and hold a short on the SPY.
Yeah, right. But
You
not
think the
just
SPY is
that.
going to go down?
Yeah, but don't these like deteriorate or something like that when it comes
Not
to
if
these?
they're not leveraged, but
Oh,
generally they
okay.
don't trade as well.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah,
find things that, like, if it's supposed to be a one for one. I mean, if it was me, I'd rather be in the actual
yeah, yeah.
the SPY instead of some derivative of a derivative
Right,
kind
right,
of
right.
thing. They don't decay the same because it's not leveraged, but
Good to know that. See, learn something new. So only on the leverage one you get that DK, which is a problem. It could be a problem. Um, yeah, if you want to
there
long the
might be
market,
some
man.
sort of slight decay, but it's much more magnified when you get into the 2 and 3x ones.
Right, right. Yeah, for buy and hold, I think there's better stuff out there. Again, you have to do your homework, right? You got to do your research. Don't take our word for it. We're not experts. I mean, we are, but you still got to do your research. Do your research, but that's probably not the best thing to buy and hold if you're looking long term. Um, INTC, INTC, INTC at the moment up 1%, but not a whole lot going on there right now. Not a whole lot going on. And we were looking at some other. What was it? As I think it was Apple. Let's finish off Apple. I mean, it's not much to do on here. This thing looks really good already. Low of the pre-market, we're setting at 126.52, which is looks really nice, and we are looking at 128.12 as well here on Apple. So looking very good. Highs and lows for the last two trading days. Previous day close, wrapping around the price action at the moment. We are up 1.6, and this is looking very nice, guys. So looking forward to. Hopefully we get a rally, man. It would be nice to start getting a rally today and tomorrow, kind of end the year and the week on a positive note at least. Um, Lucid. Let's take a look at Lucid here. Was that on our gap up list? It's
Yes, we
not.
looked that up.
We did. I thought we did, right? It doesn't look great.
No, you know what? Lucid was not. Rivian was.
Okay, we looked at so many. Oh, I didn't even think we looked at Rivian, but yeah, no, we did. We did. Yes, you're right. You're right. We did look at that. Lucid's
LCID.
LCID. Yeah. Um. Yeah, guys. Again, I don't know whether these guys are up so much, but they don't look great. They really don't. And the lower the price gets, the worse these tickers are looking, man. So I'm not a big fan of these at all. I think the only one on here, EV, is Tesla. That looks very good. Let's run through it again. Lee's starting to come alive a little bit. XPEV has been horrible. Rivian, it's okay. Not really great volume. And then Neo, even Neo with 1 million looks bad, guys. I don't know. We'll have to wait. I think we'll have to wait for the market open, see if things change. If we get just a drop of huge volume on these, but right now they're not looking great at the moment. And again, there's a lot of stuff in the green, guys, because the SPY is green. I mean, these are just leading the way. I expect as soon as the market opens, we'll see some other names like Apple, Amazon, Nvidia, kind of take the lead on things that we can trade and take advantage of, right? So, how much levels a stock? How much levels a stock you normally have?
However many are relevant within the
Oh, within
span of
one
price
ticker.
that we think that we'll need. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And in some cases, it's a few. In some cases, it's a lot. I mean, for Tesla, you can really have, I mean, tons of levels because this thing can move quite a bit. But it all depends. It's not a set number. There's just not a set number. But if I were to, we do this every day, right? Every market day. If I were to pick a number, I think on average, we're putting about 4 to 5 levels, right? 2 towards the top, 2 towards the bottom. On average, I think that's the number. But for the most part, it can be more than that. Definitely can be more than that or less. Sometimes we put no level. Sometimes it's moving sideways. And it's just between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, and that's not counting highs and lows in previous day close, right? It's just the four and five. I'm thinking of just about the stuff that I add, not the stuff that's already there for you on the charts. Yeah, let's take a look at our moderators list here, guys. This morning, Thor, Jared, Susan on deck. We'll look at that, and we'll see what else we have on our list this morning. Do we trade at the pre-market? Do I trade? I don't trade the pre-market because I'm here with you guys. But I have traded in the pre-market before. I don't draw
pre-market all the time.
Yeah, you do all the time. Yeah, of course. You don't draw Y. I'm not even sure what these are, man. I'm not even sure what those letters are.
What's that?
YL. Oh, pre-market. Okay,
Yesterday's
pre-market
low.
high. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. It's funny that those are marked. I'm used to seeing those like YY. Like it's a different setup on DAS.
Those
No,
are
I
all
don't do.
automatic.
Yeah, you can set them up automatic.
Pre-market high isn't, I don't think.
Yeah, the pre-market high, you can set up automatically. I don't have it that way. I do it manually. It's a couple of reasons why. Sometimes when I put a level, that level, even though the pre-market high now is here, let's say I put a level here, right? Let's say I put a high pre-market was this one, 118, right? And Peter gets on me this time. Why don't you use pre-market high automatic levels? Because he does. Let's say I set this as the pre-market high, and the pre-market high now changes to this. Now this is just gonna move and be here. Well, guess what? I still want this level here. I still want this level. I still want to see this here because I know that if it comes back down, this can now be an area where I might see some support or some play there, right? So I still want that there. That's just me personally. But you can do whatever works best for you, right? Maybe you could do the pre-market high and then also mark as level as you go. But I like to do it this way. Old school, man. Let's see what else we got going on our list here, guys.
Carlos is so old school. He uses markers on his screen.
Yes.
No, I mean like an actual Sharpie.
Oh my God, I have a great story about that. We had this. We have time. What is going on here? I used to work in companies I used to work in. We had a meeting, and it was me, my boss, which is the operations manager, and then the VP comes in. The VP is livid because some trucks went the wrong way, whatever, and just whatever. He comes in, he starts drawing. We should be doing this. He takes a marker and he starts drawing on the board, and he fills up the entire board. My boss is pissed because he just got screamed at in front of me, which that should never happen, right? That's a no-no. He walks out. He's like, Carlos, I don't know, man. This is unbelievable. I don't know what we're going to do here. He takes his eraser, starts erasing it. And when that man saw that thing did not come off, I was like, why am I still in here? Where's the door? It was not pretty, man. It was not. He's slamming everything. He's like, what the fuck? You already know. I'll never forget that. That was a good times. Guys,
I'm glad I was able to bring you some pleasant memories this morning.
Yes, you did. That took me right to that moment, man, without hesitation. Oh man. All right, guys. On deck right now, let's take a look at our list of the moderators that we have going on here. And we'll wait for Brian to throw his out, and we will get this day rocking and rolling. If you haven't done so already, guys, hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We appreciate it. Sitting at 123. It does help out the channel a ton. Question, do you look for levels week past or only the last few days? No, we look at levels. So think about levels about an area, right? Think about levels about in an area. So let's take a look at we have a couple of minutes here. Let's find one that we haven't done levels for. Maybe Neo. No, that's not a good one. I'll find one here. Oh, coin is good. Coin is, we could use this one. Actually, no, you know which one? Amazon. All right, so let's say we're here, right? And we're looking for levels towards the top and bottom. You're just not gonna go back and look at, I'm gonna look at last week, because last week might not be in your range, right? You need levels within this range that is surrounding the price action, right? So you might have to go back here. Okay, this is good. You got levels towards the top. That covers the top part. Now towards the bottom, if you want to find a level below this previous day close, I start now. As soon as I go back a couple of months, then the daily is not as important. I switch to a weekly, right? I switch to a weekly. So now I go to a weekly and I see that, okay, on the weekly, this has been an area of great support, man. This 80 something, they love this spot here. They love to stay above that. Great support there. Still nothing below 80, below that previous day close at 81, 82. I'm going back now 2018 and 2019. And you'll be surprised. The next question you're going to have is, does a level that all work? Absolutely yes. Trust me, because everybody's doing the same thing. They're looking for, where can I possibly find some support? And I see in areas where, the level is like 2, 3, 4 years old. And for some reason, right at that 79.20, which what does 79.20 means? Nothing. There's some support. There's a bounce happening there today because we had a level back from 2 years ago, 4 years ago. So, you put a little bit less weight on it, obviously, and you got to, the price action is king. So always remember that levels are just an indicator to help you make a better decision. Nothing in here is the be all end all. Very, very careful with that. Not level 2, not your highs and lows, not your previous day close. Everything is an indicator that you use to enhance your trading. So be mindful of that. So don't say, oh, it's the previous day close, it has to bounce from here. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to bounce from there. It can go right through that, but use that, use the level 2, use the volume, use the time in sales to make the best decision possible on what is going to happen next on your trade. Right? Simple as that, right? So be very careful on just clinging on to an indicator and saying, hey, this is it. We're going to go on, print money, right? It doesn't work that way. So very, very careful. But yeah, that's how you find levels there, guys. There it is, the man of the hour, Brian, with his list. We'll bring this over. Let's disable this video and bring our moderators list as we get rocking and rolling here. 9:15 coming up. Here we go, guys. So Thor this morning, Amazon, the Qs and the SPY, BA and Tesla. Jared looking at NVIDIA, AMD, Tesla, and some of the banking stocks. Susan looking at Tesla, AMD, SPY, and NVIDIA, and also some banking stocks as well as her secondary. Brian will be looking at Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD, HOTH for fun, guys. That is the low flow sitting at 1.2 million shares flow. So be very, very careful with that one. With that said, guys, that wraps us up here. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow again over on YouTube. Here we start at 8:30 tomorrow. It's Friday. It's Friday tomorrow, so we'll see you guys then. Have an amazing trading day today. Take care, and hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, guys. Trade safe. Have a good day.